Hello and welcome to the House of Cult podcast. I'm Ariel, and today's episode we're changing things up a bit. In terms of our usual format, I will actually be interviewing our co-host, Alessandro, along with his bandmate Joe, in honor of their band House of Blue Leaves and the brand new single Goldeneye, their first new music in 3 years, as well as the news of their new EP, Familiar Hell, which is set to drop this fall and will mark the band's first major collection of songs since 2016. How you
Yeah.
guys doing?
Good.
Doing well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Very caffeinated. Had matcha and coffee this morning.
Oh
So
my God.
feeling
I would be
absolutely
a
crazy.
yeah, I would be a psychopath. How does it feel to be on that side, Alessandro?
It is very strange. As I was telling Joe right before we jumped on, I don't have the best attitude about myself. I'm always very insecure. And so
It's true.
even in these moments where like talking about myself or music, I'm like, oh God, I suck. But I'm gonna try my best to be confident and
Mhm.
excited.
You
Yeah.
got this. You got this. Let's dive into the first one. Golden Eye is obviously your first single in 3 years. It marks the beginning of a new era for House of Blue Leaves. Walk us through what the writing and recording process of the track, how did it come together, and what are you guys kind of hoping to communicate with it?
Yeah. Uh I think technically speaking, Goldeneye was the first song we wrote and recorded for this EP. Um it started as an idea I was working on in my studio, just literally
hmm
a couple feet away from here. And
Like last year.
last
hmm
year. And I remember wanting to make a song that felt like what my brain feels like during Christmas time, but not in like the happy, holly jolly kind of way. Like this kind of
Interesting.
weird, like holiday malaise, like this kind of sadness that maybe is underlying through it. Um, and I thought the guitar riff reminded me of the soundtrack of the video game Goldeneye from 1997. And so the working title was just Goldeneye, and we were going to change the title
But it
and
just
actually,
stuck. Yeah.
yeah, and we were going to call it Familiar Hell, but we decided to stick with the working title just because we kind of like our song names to sort of not have any meaning to what the song's actually about, to sort of make it more ambiguous, I
hmm
guess. But yeah, I mean, writing it was interesting. Lyrically, it's definitely, our music is very different. We played in a bunch of different bands growing up, and we were always in pop punk and emo bands and stuff like that. And the trope is always like breakups, relationships, simping, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And with House of Blue Leaves, almost none of it is ever about relationships or love or, romantic interests or anything. It's all about mental health.
hmm
Um, and this song is basically a chronicle of having uh, OCD, but not in the sense of washing your hands a bunch of times, which I do,
Mm,
but ruminating thoughts and intrusive thoughts. And um, it's very much just about having OCD, having Tourette's, both things that I deal with, and really kind of taking inventory and
hmm
stock of those things, I think.
Yeah. And what I appreciate, especially like about the lyrics you wrote for this song and all the songs, is it goes beyond just kind of like the top level of like anxiety exists. It's more like actually living with it day to day. And I think we all experience a familiar hell to a certain extent that we lock ourselves in because it's really comfortable. I struggle with OCD myself too. Like
mm.
things need to be perfect, or I always love to see things out. And um, I think this song really captures that feeling of, yeah, like we all end up in these patterns that we know aren't good for us. Um, but how you kind of deal with that. So,
I love how open you guys are about this because I think, depression and anxiety is something we obviously talk about a lot on here, and that I feel like is more the well-known kind of version of mental stuff where I just learned, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know if they're super open with it yet, but someone very close to me was just diagnosed with OCD.
Mm,
And I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense now,
mhm.
And so this person explained to me how it manifests for them. Similar, it's not a washing the hands, it's not a touching, it's a lot more, and I also learned this OCD of personality.
Mhm.
There's different versions, and this person has a personality one and the hyperfixation of social things. And
Mhm.
I was like, how interesting. And I think it's really important to talk about because this is something a lot of people have.
Mhm.
And it falls under everything to go with, mental health and everything like that. And I think it's something I'm happy in society that we have gotten a lot better about depression and anxiety, but I think there's a lot of things and stigmas with certain things that we still, and I think it's based a lot too of how people don't really understand what OCD is or Tourette's. Like
Yeah.
I knew what Tourette's was, but I've never known someone until I met Alessandro who has it, and I forget you have it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like until it gets brought up, like
Yeah.
it's just something that's like your normal. And obviously I've known you for years now, so it's my normal with you, And I
Yeah.
think, but people hear that and they're like, obviously there's different forms and severities and things like that. But I love that this project kind of that's kind of your mission in a way to like talk about these topics that are a little on the fringes of mental health.
Yeah.
It's not the typical depression, anxiety, which I'm sure you guys both, we all have, let's
Oh
be
yeah.
real, the
Oh
world we
yeah.
live in.
Yeah. Yeah. There's plenty
Uh,
enough to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty of that to sprinkle around, but these yeah, I think that's really cool. And even knowing for our listeners, knowing Alessandro for many years, I did not know that this project, was lyrically a lot about that. And I think that's really unique and special. And I think that's going to, and I hope that your music, really helps people who maybe struggle with those things on the fringes of mental, not your normal depression and
Yeah.
anxiety, what
Yeah.
everyone just focuses on.
I think another thing too that I like about this song is, I mentioned that they're not about these, none of the songs are about like love or relationships
Hmm.
really, but there is two songs on this EP that kind of do touch on relationships, and Goldeneye is one of them in the sense where like the chorus I say, I'm counting on you to keep my faith in tune. That is essentially I find myself counting on people all the time to reassure me, and that's a huge part of OCD is
Mhm.
always needing constant reassurance. Not reassurance in the sense of like in a vanity way. It's
Hmm.
genuinely being like, am I a good person? Am I
Hmm.
an intelligent person? Am I a worthy person? And it can really take a toll on a lot of the people in your lives, and it can make you feel like a burden a lot of times. And I think that's a big thing that, we wanted to communicate with it. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like that you bring up that it's about the fringes of, mental health, where it's not so common that someone's talking about, a big thing way OCD manifests for me is like when I'm driving, I will think I ran somebody over and will like turn around and go back
Oh,
and
how
think, yeah,
interesting.
it's
Okay.
I mean, it's constantly like having this voice being like, what if? And that's what it's sort of, it's just this, it's my girlfriend likes to call it the abyss. And that's what I go into.
I
So
mean, kind of, right?
yeah,
Like the
yeah,
abyss of your mind and
yeah,
trying to figure out what's real and what's not in a sense. Like, did
yeah,
I hit someone? I need to go check.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
can't imagine that's that's crazy. And yeah, I'm fascinated because like I said, someone close to me was diagnosed with it and I was like, A, I think it kind of helps to be open about it because then people in your life, at least for me, when I know someone has something, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then maybe I can alter the way that I interact with them or perceive things because I know it's not coming from a certain standpoint.
Yeah.
Like there's something that they're working through. And yeah, I mean, I loved the music and the video when I saw it, but now I love it even more because that's the point of this podcast. We get to find out all the behind the scenes stuff. And even though I've known Alessandro for, I think I've known you at least for 5 years now,
Hmm.
um, I'm learning something new about you right now. So,
Yeah.
I would love to know, considering the band's hiatus, different cities. Joe, are you still in Seattle?
I am, yeah.
Okay, cool. And obviously, as many people know from this podcast, that's where Alessandro grew up. He's now here in Los Angeles. Personal career paths. How did this project come to life now? And why did 2025 seem to be, for you guys, the time to make the return?
Yeah, it's funny because it used to be so easy for us to get things done, but as you know, now I'm in my 30s. I'm 31 now. Joe's gonna enter the 30 club this September.
That's right.
Um,
Ooh,
and
welcome to the sandbox.
Thank
but
you.
it's funny because Joe is very much he feels like the older brother a lot of times because he's married. Like he's been married for 2 years. He's
Hmm.
a very structured individual, and I'm structured as well. Like I have my own career, but I'm a little bit more loosey goosey. I'm a little harder to pin down for certain things, and obviously the songs have to kind of start with me because I do the guitar and everything like that and the vocals and stuff. So it has to start from somewhere. Um, and I think working in the music industry, it did kind of take the magic out of writing music for me. That's a big reason why there have been these really long gaps because I meet so many people here in Los Angeles and they're confused. They're like, wait, you do music? And it's like my whole life and identity was a musician up until probably, yeah, like 5 years ago when I started working in the industry. So I think it took a long time to really focus
Hmm.
and find the time. And we would have to really, Joe is, he's a Virgo. And
You're just surrounded by Virgos. I
oh
am
yeah,
too. I
yeah,
am
Yes.
too.
yeah. And Joe would always, be like, we should set time to jump on Zoom and write and record. So we wrote and recorded a lot of this record over Zoom. Um,
Mm.
The building blocks were set. Yeah.
yeah,
And then when we get to a good spot where, you know, things are at like 40, 50%, then I fly down or he comes up and, for instance, we knocked out all the vocals and production and everything in like 4 or 5 day weekend.
yeah,
So
yeah. And I think the reason why it felt like the right time was we did a small attempt in 2022. We put out like two songs, but only one of them really kind of hit. And very quickly after the song came out, we just basically went inactive again. And but the catalyst was we played a reunion show in Seattle in 2023 around Christmas time, and that was like a huge
that
success.
was
Like it
epic.
was like close to like kind of a sold out show in
Heck yeah.
Seattle, and it was very reaffirming. And I think probably the 2 weeks later we started actually giving it a real try
Hmm.
to start making something. And yeah, the album has been done since August 2024. So it's interesting. It's coming out
Yeah.
a year
The
after.
paint was on the canvas, so we just needed
Yeah.
to like, yeah, mix it and then
Yeah,
strategy and all that stuff.
exactly.
Yeah. To be fair too, I think a large part of like some of our gaps too is we love to experiment with like other genres and stuff too. Like I mean,
Yeah.
over our like 10 years of making music together, we've done so many weird things like SoundCloud rap to like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
just,
Oh my God.
that's a big
Alessandro,
thing.
the SoundCloud
Oh, you don't
rapper?
know
yeah,
about this?
yes.
Oh,
No,
oh.
what?
So a big missing puzzle piece is like we didn't just stop making music with each
Not
other
at all.
in
Not at all.
2017 when the band quote unquote disbanded. Um, we were done making this kind of music. I moved to LA and I was briefly working with a producer. I won't say who it is because just for like privacy reasons, but a pretty big producer that sort of wanted to develop me into like a
Mm,
SoundCloud rapper. So I had the
okay.
dyed hair. I
You
had the
know what? I do remember this era
yeah.
briefly. I
I think when we
remember the
first
dyed
met,
hair. I think it was when we first met. Yes.
I was a
And I
fuck
re
boy.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit, a little
yeah,
bit. I remember this because, as probably our listeners have put together, Alessandro's wonderful girlfriend is a very close friend of mine. And I remember when you guys first started dating, and I remember I think there was some blonde in the hair. And I
yeah.
do
Blue,
remember her
red.
telling me he does some SoundCloud rap. And I was like, girl, what?
Yeah, I was full on SoundCloud rapper, like full on. And, we worked on a ton of stuff like that. And then, we're consistently making other stuff. Did a band called Spellbound briefly.
Yeah.
That was kind of like a pop punk revival kind of thing. And
Hmm.
then,
I remember that.
yeah, and then in 2023, we actually flew out to Nashville and recorded an album with Johnny Three Tears from Hollywood Undead. And that, I don't know if we should can be revealing this, but something is coming soon with that actually,
Oh,
which
okay.
is exciting. So we were kind of in the production world a bit. So we never stopped making music
Yeah.
together. It's just my whole thing was House Blue Leaves has to come from a point of despair, sort of.
Yeah.
And 2023, when we started writing, was probably one of the worst years of my life. I lost a really pivotal job, and there was a lot of anger, sadness, and resentment, and mental health issues. And I think that, you know, finally, I was like, I think can go back into that headspace again and write this kind of
I
music.
Yeah.
have enough trauma to
Yeah. Yeah,
to make
straight
this
up.
project
Yeah.
come
To
alive.
dump,
100%.
to trauma dump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trauma dump. Yeah.
Dude. Where we've talked a little bit about the recent history, but let's go back even further to the
Mhm.
origins because you guys have been friends for so long. How did obviously you started in Seattle, and eventually Bellingham? Am I saying
Hmm.
that correctly?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yes. How did the band come together? What do you guys remember vividly the most over those years? And what were some pivotal, personal influences for you guys at that time?
Well, I always like to start with that. I'll let you
Yeah,
jump in.
yeah. I think yeah, because it kind of starts with me in a way, because like we were, in high school, we played in adjacent bands, and I think we always like really admired each other's playing. And then I was in a band that was really bad, and he straight up calls me one day. It was like, you should quit your band and we should do something together.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah. And I did that right that day. I called our lead singer. I was like, I quit.
I'm just a home wrecker.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a home wrecker, but to be fair, it wasn't that good at all. So anyway, and I mean like that influenced my like where I went to college. So we went to Western Washington University up in Bellingham. And so that's kind of where we were like, all right, we're gonna do something together.
But before that, we were in high school together, and he was 2 grades below me. And I'll never forget this. This embarrasses him. He came to my band show because I was 2 grades above, and we were like the big band
Yeah.
in the high school. And
Mm.
he had me sign his CD, which was really
Oh, how
funny.
I
Yeah.
still have it for what it's
Yeah, he
worth.
still has it.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh-huh.
my
Um,
God.
and I remember seeing him around, and I knew he was a drummer, but I was always taken aback because he was always smiling. And I brought this up in his wedding speech that I did. Like, he was just always smiling. I was like, why is this guy always smiling? Because, like, I'm miserable. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But I felt like it was a good yin and yang. And then, yeah, we went to college together. I was obviously 2 grades above, but he
Hmm.
got there. And yeah, those early years was, you know, uh, a lot of cigarettes, a lot of alcohol,
Hmm.
like frightening levels of alcohol for me. I was definitely a wild guy in college, I think, for
Yeah.
several years. And, I very much look back on those times and I don't even recognize that person anymore. Um, but, there were fun times, obviously,
Oh,
too.
tons of fun. Tons of
Yeah.
fun.
Just playing really, really crazy house shows, DIY art spaces,
Hmm.
huge shows. I mean, there would be like sometimes like 350 people at the
Yeah.
shows and you know, just going absolutely insane, falling into the drum set, drunk, falling off amplifiers,
Yeah. The floor is like creaking and shaking as
Yeah.
everyone's bouncing up and down.
cops getting called at 2 different shows. Really, really intense, visceral shows.
Yeah.
Like
Super fun.
really, really, yeah, really intense shows. And they were a ton of fun. And then, as all things go, I graduated college in 2017.
Yeah.
Um, and then I moved to LA. And then,
Yeah. I followed a couple years later, but
yeah,
so naturally I think, yeah, us being in different states is like starting that long-term relationship. We didn't, it took a second to kind of figure that out. And I mean, this was pre-COVID like Zoom culture too, so like I feel like it
Yeah.
wasn't as common. And also like there's like software that we use where you can make music a lot easier remotely now,
yeah,
but that didn't exist at the time.
no.
So
No,
yeah.
we used to write. So this record is really different because we wrote it all in the studio, like in the box, like as we went. Back in the day, we would just get in a room and play really loud
Yeah.
and look at each other, like staring at each other, writing
Yeah.
songs. And now it's very different. We almost build the songs like you would write like a hip hop beat, essentially. Like that's kind of how we create it now.
Hmm.
And it's very, very different. Where it used to be, we would just get a 6 pack of Rainier and get in
Yeah.
a room.
And he'd be like, play this kind of drum part. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's cool with technology. There's like whole albums that are written with the all the members separate, which is really cool and a great tool for people who aren't able to live in the same space. But I do think there's something special about art that's created in an atmosphere together, just messing around. You just never know like what could come of it, you know? Yeah, because Kevin obviously does the same. He'll write stuff, send stuff back and forth to some people he plays with, but at the same time, he's like, sometimes the best stuff just comes like when we're in the room, like
right.
Yeah.
just fucking around, you
Totally.
know?
I wish we could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, more Seattle and LA trips,
Yeah.
just to fly
Exactly.
back and forth, casual, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Easy.
Hmm.
Speaking of house shows and house parties, I would love to know kind of the energy in Seattle and Bellingham music scenes during the mid 2000s. Are there any like standout memories from your shows or the community that surrounded you at that time?
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, Bellingham was awesome. I thought, like, I mean,
Yeah.
it was really, we really rose to the top kind of effortlessly. And, like, there's like the kids at the college are just so into that kind of like visceral experience, even though they may not listen to music like House of Blues outside, they're just drunk and want to like experience something with other people.
Yeah.
So I mean, I thought it was awesome. Like the house scene or house show scene up in Bellingham was great. And we would drive down south a couple times,
Yeah, we would, we played in
to
Seattle
Seattle.
quite a bit, and we
Yeah.
played in Vancouver, Canada,
Yeah.
which was probably the funnest show
That was fun.
ever.
Yeah.
We just got drunk with a bunch of guys from Newfoundland,
Yeah.
and they were just buying us shots all night. And it was
Yeah.
actually the first venue that Radiohead and Nirvana ever played in Canada, which was pretty
The
cool.
railway.
The
Oh,
Railroad Club. It
wow.
no
Rail.
longer exists. It's
Yeah.
on the most terrifying street in all of Vancouver. If you think Skid Row is scary, it's way
Yeah.
scarier.
It's bad.
And no, I think the coolest, I think it was a crazy time because it was this small, really, really thriving scene, and
Hmm.
people were really rabid about it. And it was very strange for us how quick things kind of rose up for us
Totally.
there. Just being, we're just a local band, but it was weird. Like we would go to this spot called Fred Meyer. It's like our like local grocery store. And I
But
would,
they also sell clothes and
yeah,
electronics.
it was like a,
Oh, I know Fred Meyer's very well.
Yeah.
oh,
I go
hell
to
yeah.
them. My best friend lives in Portland,
Oh
Oregon,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he makes fun of me because I love a good Fred
Me
Meyer's
too.
trip. I will go to the suburb because those are the ones that have
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
He fucking makes fun of me. Um, I love getting, especially because the Pacific Northwest, I will go specifically and get like cardigan, like long sweaters there
Yeah.
because we don't have that stuff here. I mean, we do, but we don't in Southern California because it
Right.
like doesn't get cold enough, I guess, so they don't sell it. But no, I love Fred Meyer's, and I got Kevin turned on to Fred Meyer's. We went to Washington for a wedding, and I was like, we have to go to this store.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
awesome.
he was like, oh my God, they have Pokemon cards. I was like, babe, they have everything.
Yeah.
No, it's the greatest place in the world, and I lived next door to one. And the reason why I bring it up, it was like so strange. I like went in there, and back in the day, Fred Meyer had the best chicken tenders, and you'd go and get the chicken
Ooh.
tenders. And I remember the dude working behind the counter was like, "Dude, are you the singer of House Blues?" Like it was like shit like that. And I was working at H&M, and people would come in and ask, and it was like the strangest thing because we're just this local band, but in Bellingham, it actually felt like, there was some momentum, which was
Yeah.
really crazy for us to experience because it was just never anything, we just
Mhm.
played in shitty pop punk bands before that,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, there's always a bit of, the scene had a bit of a building block from years earlier. There's a band called Idiot Pilot that, was on like, was it Warner Brothers? It was on the Transformers soundtrack, like
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
one of our favorite bands. And they're from Bellingham and would play all the same house shows and the venues. So I think that kind of like inspired us to like, this is a cool spot with a really cool scene and really build that up together. So we
Yeah.
always kind of had like them as our guardian angels, even if they didn't know it at all. But we love Idiot Pilot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Pilot. Hell yeah. Let's talk about some of your, earlier releases. You have the Charmed Existence EP in 2015. You have a full length in 2016. Who did you work with on those? What kind of headspace were you guys in creatively? And how do you reflect on those records nearly a decade later?
Yeah, we worked with Johnny Goss. He produced a lot of awesome bands. The Fall of Troy, which
Hmm.
is Kevin, one
Mm,
of Kevin's favorite bands,
I
and
know that band well. Yes.
we specifically went to him, I think, kind of because of that, and then also this band called La Luz, this awesome all-female surf rock band that we were obsessed with.
Hmm.
And we did the records like pretty analog, like we mixed everything to analog tape, which was
Yeah.
very unique, I
Yeah.
think, for that time. Um, and I just kind of remember, like, I think our parents each gave us like $1,000 each,
If that,
and
if that.
if that, and they
Low
invested,
budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we recorded both, and eventually a record label called, God, Really Rad Records reached
Shut
out,
up.
uh,
It's real, okay? It's real.
which is
I
crazy because
believe it,
actually,
but like, who gave the green light for that name?
oh yeah, and it's crazy because they actually had like a pretty big band came from it called Remo Drive. We're
Oh,
on it, and we eventually like put out both records as one copy, like a
Because
tape
of that.
run.
Yeah.
And the owner of that label fucking sucks. I hope he listens to this because he sold defective tape.
All the tapes were
He
bad.
would copyright claim our music,
oh my
and
God.
we never signed any contract with them, but that was really a good lesson for sure.
Yeah.
So, but
I
really rad records.
I remember
They were
we
not rad. They were
no,
not
No,
rad
they're really
records.
bad. Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah, really bad records.
Yeah, one of our good friends, shout out Ethan, he ordered a tape, great supporter, and he was down in Arizona at the time. So
Yeah.
I did all the filming, I shipped him, and so he sends me a text like a week later. He's like, "Hey, I don't know how to tell you this, but this tape is like intelligible. I can't really tell what's happening here." So yeah, it
Oh
turns
my
out they totally
God.
messed everything up. And so then we went in and had one of our friends like re-record the tapes on his like janky tape machine. So yeah, it was a whole thing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, those were cool records. New Cacophony uh is a play on, I don't know if you know the band Refused.
Oh yeah.
Their big song is called New Noise, and it was just kind of a joke where it was like, let's do new like new metal and cacophony like noise.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just kind of a silly play on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, every album again, just mental health. And actually a big thing on that record was body dysmorphia, which is not something I think a lot of, men in music probably talk about, is body
No, not at
dysmorphia and
all.
disordered eating and stuff like that. That was a big thing on that
Hmm.
record specifically
Hmm.
that we were touching on. And you know, some other things, some darker things, but it was yeah, it was a fun one for
Yeah. I
sure.
love that record. It has some of the most amazing live moments too, on it. Just like really virtuosic, cool moments that I love. So
Yeah, it was
yeah.
cool.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. And then obviously, touching back a little bit, the band went on hiatus in 2017. You were reunited for shows in 2018 and then again in 2023. What were those years creatively and professionally for each of you? Did those reunions spark the idea of returning more permanently, or was clearly, I feel like the intention was kind of always lingering?
Yeah, I guess we touched on that. Yeah, that second reunion show was the big,
Hmm.
Yeah.
like, let's do this. In 2018, that was a really special one too, because it was the last show we got to play with our very dear friend Guala Boy,
Hmm.
local rapper in Seattle. He sadly passed away
Mm.
couple months after that, and I just remember that being a really special thing to
Yeah,
get to experience.
absolutely. Yeah.
You know, one of my greatest memories of him, and love him dearly. And yeah, but yeah, 2023 definitely spawned, I
Yeah.
think, the interest to keep going.
I mean, a really wonderful, kind of blessing of the band is like the people that stuck, really like us have stuck with us since, 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
So like those same people drove out or came out to these reunions because they remember the good times of seeing us back in Bellingham. So we've always had like people that will just always come back to see us and listen to whatever we put out too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell
It's pretty
yeah.
cool.
All right, let's move into the present. With the release of Familiar Hell, there's a noticeable sonic shift from hazy shoegaze, post-punk textures. Your earlier work was toward the heavier, post-hardcore new metal, almost Deftones-esque, I'd say.
totally.
What inspired this evolution, and where do you see the band's sound kind of heading next?
Yeah, it's always the issue. I think Joe has to reel me in. If I had it my way, we would be the heaviest band, like just absolutely unlistenable, like probably just the most like disgusting guitar riffs and all screaming, no singing at all probably,
Hmm.
and just all breakdowns, which is so not what our old music was. A big thing is in Bellingham, the one thing we didn't mention is like it was a very hipster indie rock city, and so we always felt like we were an emo and post-hardcore band that was cosplaying as this shoegaze and post-punk and kind of hipster indie like pitchfork band, because we were at that time like emo was a dirty word still, and then post-hardcore was a dirty word, and that music was looked down upon as being juvenile and lame. And I think now that we're older and we don't care about that, and we're this is simply a passion project, we're finally getting to make the on the nose emo new metal record. And there is elements of our original sound in there.
Mhm.
The vocals are still kind of shoegazy and reverby, and the guitar tones are very shoegazy, but at its core it was like, let's make an album that, like, who gives a shit if this song kind of sounds like Senses Fail
Mhm.
or like Hawthorne Heights or like Silverstein.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, we're not trying to be hipsters anymore. And that was a big thing. And like we love early 2000s new metal
Mhm.
like so much. Like I fucking love Godsmack. I love Coal Chamber. I love fucking
Mm.
Mudvayne. And
Candiria.
yeah, like, and I think that was it,
Yeah. Mhm.
like for sure.
Yeah. Obviously, with the title Familiar Hell, can you unpack like what the central theme or narrative of this EP is together? And is there a particular, emotional or conceptual thought line that listeners should expect?
Yeah, I think it's what Joe is saying about the concept of familiar hell. I think a big thing is that's a term. So two of our records, this one, Familiar Hell and Charmed Existence, are two terms I heard from different therapists in my life. Uh, Charmed
Mm.
Existence was something that my therapist told me, that essentially there were periods in my life where I did have a charmed existence. Things were well. I had privilege and um, the building blocks to have a good life. But then when those things kind of would get stripped away or bad things would happen, that charmed existence would fade away.
Mhm.
And with familiar hell, that's a term from my current therapist. She's always told me, I forget her exact wording, but she's like, you would rather live in a familiar hell than an unfamiliar, like, utopia or something
Mhm.
like that. And it's
Interesting.
yeah, it's funny too. When I sent the album to my therapist, she cried. It's like she just could not believe it that we
Mhm.
named it that.
Oh.
And yeah, I think that's what this record is it's being trapped, and
Yeah.
I wish there was sort of a positive bow to wrap it up at the end of the record. Like there would be some like overcoming moment, but there isn't, because that isn't what
Mhm.
life is,
That's the reality of
That's
it.
the reality. Like there isn't a happy ending to this album at all. Um, so it's very much, yeah, it's the abyss, you know.
Yeah, I kind of love that because, yeah, that is life, and not everything is happy. Not everything has a happy ending, and it's dark in a way to think about, but it's true. And, or even if to put a little bit of a positive, I guess, spin on it, it's like a healing journey is a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It gets better, but there's no like, I'm fully healed. There
Yeah.
Right.
just isn't that.
Right.
There will always be stuff that takes you back. It's just a matter of how you deal with it. And so I do, when thinking about it like that, like a familiar hell, it's like, yeah, it's like it's familiar. It's hell, but it's familiar, so it's safe in a sense.
Yeah, oh
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
this repeating process. Um, but you can do things, I guess, be it therapy, meds, whatever it be, to make it more comfortable for things you
Exactly.
can't control.
The big thing is rewiring your nervous system, which I still have
Hmm.
not learned how to do yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, whenever in my own therapy, I literally was reading the last book I was doing, it's similar topic, and I was like, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm supposed to do this. Also with stress.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
learning a lot about stress right now and how we don't actually like stress, there's a whole complete cycle, and many of us don't ever complete the cycle, and that's why we're in a constant state. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I complete the cycle? But it's almost like I don't know if that's a reality because especially with the jobs, I mean everyone's life and everyone's job, but especially owning your own business, working in music, it's just constant stress.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not going to
100%.
sugarcoat it. Everyone thinks it's the sexy job, and it is fun.
Yeah,
We get to do cool stuff, and I try and never take that for granted. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a fucking stress ball half the
yeah.
time,
But at
more than
least
half the
we're
time.
but at least we're not working at the DMV. You know what I'm
This
saying?
is what I tell myself. The most stressful days of owning my own business, I'm like, you know what? I can get to the office at 10 o'clock, 10:05, 10:10, and there's no one going to be yelling at me that I was late. Like
No.
it has its perks. It has its perks for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Um, I want to talk about the video for Goldeneye. It leans into horror, aesthetic, cinematic, eerie flair. When I was watching it personally, I got some Blair Witch vibes. I don't know if that was
100%.
intentional. Okay, because I was like, I was picking up on that. I would love to know, with the process of filming it, your love of horror went into shaping it. I know, Alessandro loves horror. Joe, I'm assuming you do as well. You know what? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not a big like supernatural horror person. I don't mind like gore and slashers at all. Like
He just gets spooked at like the supernatural, like
yeah,
the jump scares and the spooky ghosts and stuff
Okay.
like that.
not
Yeah.
my
Okay.
fave.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah.
But he loves
Yeah.
gore. He
Or
loves
or
gore.
like, I love like, psychological thrillers that do have that sense of like something weird and mysterious is happening. So like a Donnie Darko or like anything Alex Garland does, I'm a huge fan of, but
Yeah.
that's kind of more my flair.
Yeah, no, but the video definitely was Blair Witch themed. When we weren't intending it, we don't plan anything. Essentially we just Joe has we like to do the opposite of what you should do to make music videos in the modern day. Joe filmed the majority of the video on a free camera
Yeah.
off Facebook Marketplace
Yeah.
from like 1999 or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Takes like old tapes, barely worked.
Barely
That's
worked.
cool though. Like that's
Yeah.
so low key in right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like and it added to the grittiness of the like horror vibe.
Right.
And
Yeah,
again, yeah.
yeah, we wanted it to feel found footagey,
Mhm.
obviously. It was funny, like Joe would have to hit the camera to get it to even like turn on, like
Yeah.
crazy shit like that. But where we filmed it was really cool. We were just driving around late at night with our two friends who are in the video, Ethan and Trevor, who play the masked men. Those are supposed to sort of represent the dark thoughts, sort of.
Hmm.
Um, and we were driving around Seattle, kind of in the northern suburbs, and we came across this really scary place called Bastille. And I think it's like a weird, like
It is a university like for like alternative medicine, and I think there is something religious. I can't
it's like
remember.
not religious, it's like new age, like Eastern medicine kind of like.
Okay, is it like, do you know, sorry, this is like random, but I've always been kind of intrigued by it. Do you know when you're going down Los Feliz Boulevard here in LA and
Yeah.
there's that like new age looking church culty thing, but it's not, but it's, do you know what I'm talking about
Yeah.
on Los Feliz? It's like a medicine, but like
Basically the
it's
same.
Basically,
very
exactly.
woo-woo.
It's the same.
Okay,
It's just
okay.
Yeah, but it's like tucked in these woods and you have to like go far into it and then you get into these woods and then there's this massive like it looks like the video game Outlast or something
yeah.
like that. And it's like this just terrifying like weird spooky university churchy
Yeah.
kind of building and we just went into the woods and just kind of channeled some
Yeah.
weird shit and
It was very run and gun. I
yeah.
again like kind of drawing that like hip hoppy style. Like we just kind of I don't know, we running good
Yeah, so our
stuff.
next video, we're filming some of it this weekend. There's a song on the album called Ghost Mall, and what we've been doing is getting footage of dead malls, like abandoned, just like
Oh,
sad malls.
sick.
Because I that's like one of my weird traits. Like I love to visit like really sad, like abandoned mall, like mostly abandoned
Yeah.
malls. And like I'll just like go on YouTube and watch like a walking tour of like a ghost mall. And that's kind of represents like what my brain kind of feels like. It's just like a sad food court with nobody in it. um, there might be an Orange Julius in the corner, but no one's
Oh my
working at it.
Yeah.
Um,
God.
Yeah.
so yeah, we're filming some stuff. We were in Seattle last week and we filmed at this mall called the Crossroads
Yeah.
Mall that I truly don't think has been updated since 1996, and it's so sick.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was
Is it
crazy.
open or no?
Yeah, it's open and
It's
Oh,
like
it's
open.
still open and not updated?
yeah, and like the food court is still there and it's open, and like all the restaurants like don't even have like LED screens for their menu. It's like the old analog, like it's so weird. Like you walk into it
Wow.
and it's kind of it's very Silent Hill vibe.
Yeah. It's uneasy. It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it all feels uncanny. It kind of feels like the back rooms. You ever see like the back rooms on TikTok where it's like you woke up in the back rooms and it's like this weird liminal space where like nothing's in it, and it's like maybe it's like a swing set in the middle of like a room just like abandoned. That's like what it all
I
feels like.
I can't say that's on my For You page,
That's
but
on
I
my For You
understand.
page. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting what you're throwing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's cool. We actually uh we felt kind of weird. We went into like a children's like mini golf arcade that was in this
Yeah.
like abandoned mall, and it was like haunted house themed. It was like
Oh
Yeah.
my
It was
and
cool. It was really
so
cool.
you can just imagine we felt bad. We're like, okay, we're like 30-year-old men in this like children's mini
Yeah.
golf thing shooting B-roll
I've got
footage.
this huge fucking handy
Yeah.
cam.
So
Oh my
we
God.
definitely felt like we're probably gonna get asked to leave. No one asked us to
Yeah.
leave,
Yeah.
but yeah, we got our footage and we left,
Yeah.
and it was cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to see this music video. What is that movie that, oh my God, it's an old movie and it's like apocalyptic and they go into like Mall of America.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking?
Dawn of the Dead.
Is that it? Dawn of the Dead? I'm thinking it's
Yeah.
something. Maybe that's it. I've been to Mall of America. It's pretty cool.
Or
It's
like
crazy.
Oh,
Cloverfield.
I've always wanted to go to Mall.
Cloverfield, that
Oh,
might be it.
Cloverfield. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, because
that's
they go into the mall. Oh, isn't it like the plane crashes into the mall or something? Or is that a whole other movie?
so no, Cloverfield's all in like Brooklyn. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think the Mall of America one's Dawn of the Dead because they hole up in the mall for like the whole movie, and it's like
It
zombies.
could be. That might be what I'm thinking. I also, my brain went to Stranger Things too when you
Hmm.
were talking about just the mall and how it's overrun. I'm excited for this video. Um, Piggybacking off that, Alessandro should know one of our favorite questions to ask our guests on here. If you could score a horror film, what movie would it be? Also, what are some of your favorite horror thriller-esque movies?
I think unanimously it's 28 Days Later and
Easily.
Cloverfield for sure.
Easily.
Oh, well,
Um, 100% the soundtrack for 28 Days Later is the greatest soundtrack
Okay.
ever made.
I
Uh,
will. Okay, so I don't know if you know this. I don't know if we talked about this. So a couple of weeks ago from filming this podcast, Alessandro and his girlfriend and me and my husband went to do a screening of 28 Days Later. That was my first time ever seeing that movie.
oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
crazy.
have
Okay.
never seen that movie, and it's one of my husband's all-time favorite. Like, is it a horror? I don't really know. It falls on it touches on many aspects,
yeah.
I guess, within horror. And he was like, that was part of he was like, we're gonna go see this so your first time can be like in a movie theater before we see 28 years later. And
Yes.
that was one of the things that stood out to me the most, like afterwards when he was asking me what I thought. I was like, dude, this soundtrack,
Hmm.
like
So good.
just the sound design and the soundtrack is incredible. And that made that movie for me.
My one of my bands in high school, one of our first shows, we covered the 28 Days Later theme song. That's how we like opened the show, and it was so bad, like the way we played it, but and no one understood it. And then we went right into into the Lost Boys song, Cry Little Sister. I don't know if you've ever heard that song before. Um,
I am familiar with the Lost Boys. That's an interesting transition. Okay.
yeah, these are the thing. We don't do anything that makes sense or is in
Yeah.
vogue or cool.
You
And
also had a song called "The End Is Extremely Fucking Nigh," which
yeah, so in the 28 Days Later, if you see on the wall when they go into the church, that really scary first
Yeah.
scene, on the wall painted in blood, it says the end is extremely fucking nigh, which
Yes.
and like so like
yeah,
I have a song called that. It's called The End is Extremely Fucking Nigh.
yeah,
And yeah, no, I would say that. And then yeah, like favorite movies, 28 Days.
yeah. I'm
We
not
just saw Final Destination's Bloodlines
excellent
last
film.
week.
Is that
Yeah,
the new one?
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
good.
we is it good? Okay. I want to see that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
10
That's
out of
on
10.
the Okay.
We were screaming laughing the whole
Yeah,
time because
yeah,
we
Oh,
saw it when I was up in Seattle last week, and it
yeah,
Chef's Kiss.
yeah.
I mean,
Some
all right.
the kill,
all
the
those
kill.
movies
Yeah,
are my favorite movies. I watch them all every year in order. And yeah, that The Taking of Deborah Logan. That was a
that's
really
for you.
scary
Yeah,
demonic possession movie. And
I those are my favorite horror movie. Anything with possession is like number one for me.
oh yeah. And there's like
Yeah.
this line where like the old woman's like, the eternal serpent will set you free. And we used to like put those messages like in our songs and like videos and stuff. I just thought that was like so spooky.
yeah.
Um yeah, I
Hmm.
don't know. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, Terrifier, of
I
course.
was about it. You literally, I was like, no Terrifier in there, Alessandro. I know how much you love Terrifier.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Which I've also written a song about Terrifier as well, but it's not I won't make that public because it's
Mhm.
really bad.
You'll have to send it to me off
Yeah.
this podcast. I want to hear it.
Fuck yeah.
With kind of too, kind of going with horror, a little bit of creepiness, the Pacific Northwest, especially Seattle, has its own unique culture and music identity. What role do you feel like that region has played with the spirit of the sound, obviously of House of Blue Leaves and kind of, what does that mean for you guys now?
Yeah. I think it's the same reason why grunge was such a big thing in the 90s is the weather is truly as dreadful as it people say it is,
Hmm.
300 days a year up there. Um, and you don't spend a lot of time. Well, you do spend a lot of time outside, but you're damp all the time. And I think for some
Yeah.
reason our music feels damp.
Yeah,
Like, and I
like
don't
a
know how to
really
describe it.
gray day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's being, stuck inside. It's you're inside a shitty house up in Bellingham, and you're going outside only to chain smoke a bunch of Camel Reds, and you're getting rain all over you, and you get back inside and
Yeah,
write songs, and that's just what it is.
yeah.
That's just yeah, exactly
It
what it
fueled
is.
that, yeah, depressive energy for sure a lot.
Yeah,
So very
definitely.
helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, and Seattle, you can look up some statistics, some of the saddest depression rates
Hmm.
in the country for sure. Also the highest incidence of serial killers live in Seattle as well
Yeah.
too. So it's a kind of a fucked up place. It's there's a darkness
Yeah.
underneath
Yeah.
it for sure.
100%.
Yeah. So
I know.
yeah.
I haven't lived there, but I love it. I get seasonal depression in the summer. Last week here in LA, I think we got some almost 90-degree days, and that's when I won't go outside. Like
Yeah,
I
same.
hate the heat. I am a fair goth girl. I do not do
Same.
the heat. I'm like sunscreen everywhere. I don't want to be tan. So I'm like, give me all the cool weather, the clouds, the rain. It's overcast here in LA today. I woke up and I was like, oh, thank
Yeah.
God it's not probably not going to get past 75 today.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we've even made jokes where when we're like recording, if it's cloudy, we're like, "Oh, it's leaves
It's
weather
yeah,
today." That's what we
It's
say.
it's
leaves.
recording weather. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I hate the sun so much. I think Joe likes the sun.
I do. I mean, yeah, especially in Seattle.
Joe has a sunny disposition. He is the
We're the
yin to
yeah,
my yang
yeah,
here.
Yeah.
So,
I can see that. I can feel it just from this
yeah.
podcast.
A little more right brain, a little more left brain. We
Hmm.
complement each other really well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
That's why
yeah.
it works. That's why
yeah,
it works.
yeah.
All right. Also on this podcast, we got to do a style check. All right. So you guys grew up playing in bands in the 2000s. What were some fashion trends, fashion victims back then? How has your aesthetic now evolved into your 30s?
Well, I don't have diamond earrings anymore. I don't have a buzz cut. I'm not wearing Jordans and polos on stage anymore. My whole idea, I wanted to shock people when we were playing shows because Bellingham was a very hipster city. So like everybody looked like they were in like Death Cab for Cutie. And my
Or
whole
loved
thing,
Modest Mouse?
or love Modest Mouse, which fuck yeah, love Modest Mouse.
We
But
do love Modest
yeah,
Mouse, no
yeah, Modest
shade,
Mouse
but
fucking rule.
yeah.
But my whole thing is I wanted to really shock people in the sense be like, what is this like essentially like, and I'm not a frat boy at all. I'm like the complete antithesis to it, but I kind of dressed like one because I wanted it to be shocking. Like, why is there essentially this fuck boy in Jordans and polos and diamond earrings and swag boy,
Yeah.
kind of like aesthetic. And we used to say like House Believes swag boy shoegaze was like our like moniker. And because I even remember this time one time we are playing at a show and like the guy like setting up the show before I was like the sound guy, like just thought I was just some guy that was like trying to sneak into the show for free because he
Mhm.
couldn't believe that I would be in that band because it didn't make sense. Like I wasn't wearing a flannel and like spectacles and I wasn't driving a fixed gear bike, to the like it was like
Yeah.
very like I look like I just came from like a keg party
Yeah.
and would go up there.
Yeah.
And then I think we wore a lot of those, remember those like long shirts
Oh yeah.
and
Long kind of draped.
the
Yeah.
long drape.
Oh, those are the Epica like fuckboy
Yeah.
shirts.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Oh, but then I used to wear leather pants. Remember, Andrew gave me a pair of
Yeah.
leather pants, and
Hmm.
that's when I started to not dress like a swag boy on stage.
Hmm.
And that was cool. I miss those leather
Yeah.
pants. Those could probably only get up to my knees now, probably. I couldn't fit into them now.
Yeah. Well, for me, I started off like when you knew me in high school, I was wearing like Osiris shoes. I
Hey,
was like,
those are back again,
Yeah, those are
so
actually
were
cool
they?
now. Yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like super like of Mice and Men, like metalcore style for a
Mm.
while, and then yeah, then I went to kind of the Doc Martens and all black and yeah,
Yeah.
so
But we've always been Air Max heads, like
yeah.
Nike Air Max.
Hmm.
Mm.
I exclusively buy Air Maxes. Um, I used to wear Yeezys until I denounced Kanye West, rightfully so, because he's a
Yeah.
horrible
Smart.
person.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I mean now I don't know, I just wear a hardcore shirt. That's why I got tattoos. I can just throw on a shirt and be like,
Yeah.
it's something enough.
Yeah. I am
Um,
a bit of a band t-shirt guy,
yeah,
but
shout out Loath.
yeah, shout out Loathe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just band shirts. I think uh I love getting like the sick shirt, bro comments. Like that's like
Yeah.
if you want to make me blush or like make me like, oh my God,
Make me
like
what?
yeah, I mean it'll
Yeah. Make you wet,
yeah, right.
Alessandro.
I mean, I'll tell you like when someone's like, oh, sick shelter shirt, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do
I
now.
feel I went to a massage this week and like at the little like check-in area, I
Yeah.
forgot what shirt I was wearing at the moment, and this girl goes in they're like, in like kind of like medical looking uniforms. She's like, sick shirt.
Hell yeah.
It was my candle mass shirt.
Oh, hell yeah.
And she was like, and I was like, oh, thanks so much. She's like, yeah, That's good. And then went back to checking me in. I was like, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
The worst though is when there's always that one asshole though that tries to test you. That's like, "What's your favorite song,
Yeah.
bro?"
Favorite album, man.
And then you're like, "What's your favorite fucking album, man?"
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I feel like that happens more, unfortunately, to women that wear band shirts. Like when like
Hmm.
guys are like, "Oh, like what songs do you know?" But believe it or not, it's happened
No,
to
yeah.
me too, and I always makes me angry
Yeah.
for sure.
Because your
I've
answer
only
is
had
never
it.
right, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I only had that happen to me once. And this guy, this was like psycho behavior, of course, on an airplane. I was getting off. I don't know. I don't recall. Like, he felt that I cut him off, I guess, or something as people were getting out of the lanes. Like, I
Hmm.
don't recall, but whatever. And he starts like behind my back, like, stupid bitch, probably doesn't even know. Yeah, doesn't even know fucking Black Sabbath. I'm in a Sabbath shirt. Sabbath is probably my top three favorite
Yeah.
bands. And I'm like, doesn't know. And I'm like, I'm hearing it. And I'm like, am I hearing this correctly? Probably doesn't even know any songs. Like, fuck
Oh,
her Black Sabbath shirt. And I was just like, I turned around, I straight up turned around and looked at him like, you want to continue?
Hmm. Fight
I
me.
know Sabbath so well. I'm aware that the shirt I'm wearing is Dio era. It's not even Aussie era, but I freaking like this shirt. So continue, sir.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he was a weirdo. There was like, yeah, like one of those just very burned in my brain, like airplane rides. He was a weirdo the whole way. But
God,
yeah,
I
that one
hate
was really
everyone.
visceral. That was really visceral. Stupid bitch probably doesn't even know who Black Sabbath is. And this person was not old. He was like our age. So
Hmm.
I was like, and I'm looking at his girlfriend like, does he talk to you like that?
Yeah,
Like,
what the fuck?
yeah, I just was like, okay. But yeah, it's so stupid. It's like, and also, who cares if they don't know? My
Right.
another side, like other side, my dentist, coolest dentist ever. He's like, oh, I love the Smiths. I like saw them when I was young, like in the 80s. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And he goes, yeah, my daughter, I think he has a teenage daughter, was wearing a Misfits shirt.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, the Misfits, do you like them now or whatever? And she was like, Dad, what are you talking about? I just like this logo and this
Yeah.
skull. And he was
Yeah.
like, all right. Like he even was like, and then she wore like a blondie shirt. And he's like, I didn't even ask. So she just likes the artwork, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm
I
like,
mean, straight up, like Grateful
yeah,
Dead, they have the coolest merch. Some of the worst music. Sorry to anybody that likes Grateful.
yeah, not my thing.
Like
Yeah.
pretty bad music, but the
Hmm.
merch, fucking sick. I'll wear a Grateful Dead
Yeah.
shirt. I
Yeah.
don't care.
And I feel like it's kind of a cool, like, this is another tangent for me as a brand owner. How many bands, uh, I'm like, you coolest bands, worst merch. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
just let me help you make merch. It's
Oh,
fine.
100%.
But if it's cool merch, like, and this is what I'm always pushing for artists that we work with, anyone will buy it. And then that's like another way for people to find your music,
Right.
or even like the younger generation finding these older bands because it's iconic and they like the artwork. You know, I'm
Mhm.
literally wearing a Metallica shirt right
Yeah.
now. And it's like, that's how my dentist daughter, for example, oh, dad told me about this band, The Misfits. What is my shirt? I'm gonna go listen to it and see if I like it, kind of thing, Like, and I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with that. People just want to be little haters,
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They
just little
absolutely
haters,
are.
little negative Nancy's.
Yep.
Ugh. Yeah.
Well, this has been great. Last question. Is there any more music, any more shows? Do we get an LA show?
Would
Yes.
love that.
What's happening?
Mhm.
Yeah. So a big thing is yes, so the EP is, hopefully going to come out around October time. It feels like the right time to put it out
It
would be
is,
October.
yeah.
Spooky.
So we'll obviously be spacing things out, singles here and there. Probably another single in August, July, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, August, probably, early August. Um, Shows, absolutely. I think a big thing is figuring out how to play these songs live because they were written in the studio, not written live. And another big thing that we haven't really pointed out is when we play live, it's just the two of us. So we
Mm,
backtrack the bass, the synths, and whatnot, which is fine. But on this record, the guitar is much crazier than our
Yeah.
other
More
releases.
layers. Yeah.
And I also play a seven string on a lot of these songs. So it's definitely going to be a pretty involved process to try to get these songs honed in a live setting. But I would say, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe a
Yeah.
little holiday show up in Seattle, and then maybe start doing some LA shows shortly after that. Um, and try to play as much. Uh, there was actually, I didn't even tell you this, there
Mm.
was possibly a show opportunity that was potentially maybe going to happen this Monday, but we won't talk about that on the record right now. That would have been
okay.
really funny that I haven't even told you about.
Oh shit.
But yeah, yeah, hopefully soon. And
Are
you
we
know,
opening for the Grateful Dead?
yeah, we're opening for the Grateful
Okay.
Dead.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We're opening for the Grateful Dead, even though I said their music wasn't good.
Yeah.
No, and then I think just our shows will be a little different, obviously. Last time we played a show, I was like, I'm probably, got a few extra gray hairs since the last time we played a show.
Yeah.
A couple extra pounds on me. And a lot more sober. Yeah, much more sober
Hmm.
on stage and
Yeah.
actually taking it more seriously in the live setting. He always took it serious.
I had to hold it together
Yeah.
because I have to, make sure the tracks are
Yeah.
working. So, but yeah, he would be, at least like four drinks, easy.
No, more than that,
Yeah.
easily. Yeah,
Just
probably about five or
to
six.
embody that Liam Gallagher sort of,
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Alessandro and Liam
yeah.
Gallagher.
Oh my
So, and then
God.
yeah, I'm like, ooh,
Daddy.
yeah.
Oh.
So,
Uh,
yeah,
you and my husband just loving Liam.
Yeah. I
he's the
mean,
bollocks.
he's the freaking bollocks,
Yeah,
man.
uh-huh.
Oh my God. Well, this has been great. I had so much fun
Thank
getting
you.
to turn the
Likewise.
tables and interview Alessandro for once, be the host. And hopefully I did a pretty good job holding it
You did a
down.
great job.
Thanks. And
And to the listeners, the next episode will be a much bigger, cooler band. Okay. All right. So
hey. But absolutely, everyone go listen to House of Blue Leaves. Watch the video for Goldeneye. I think it's really cool. And thanks for joining.
Thanks,
hell
guys.
yeah, thank you. That was so fun. Thank you so much.